Alright guys, I'm back and this is my WWE Royal Rumble 2014 review, and I thought this Royal Rumble show wasn't that bad. I actually thought the Royal Rumble show wasn't that bad. I won't say it was a bad show. I didn't think it was that bad. I'm not saying wow it was a bad show. I did enjoy one match on that show, and that was, well, two matches. The Royal Rumble match was good. And I enjoyed the Bray Wyatt vs. D. Bryan match. Them two matches were my favourite matches on the show. And the pre-show match was good as well. So overall, 3 good matches on the show was pretty good. So anyway, starting off with the pre-show. So on the pre-show panel, you've got Hardcore Jim Duggan, Josh Matthews, Ric Flair, and HBK. They just run down the Royal Rumble match card. Then the match on the pre-show is Brotherhood defending the WWE Tag Team titles against the New Age Outlaws. Not really much to this. Road Dogg knocks, I think, Goldust off the apron. Then Billy Gunn hits a Vaymaster on Cody for the win. New tag champs. You can also like WrestleMania, where you could have a fatal 4-way between Brotherhood, the Usos, and maybe a triple threat like Brotherhood versus New Age Outlaws versus the Usos at WrestleMania. Or they could have these two teams have a strong feud going into WrestleMania, which I would like to see. But I would like to see kind of like a fatal 4-way. I'd like to see maybe a fatal 4-way tag team match at WrestleMania, like between like the Usos and the New Age Outlaws and Brotherhood, and maybe the PTP or the Wyatts, something like that, to have a big kind of match for the tag titles or something like that. So anyway, the first match tonight was Bray Wyatt versus D. Bryan. Thought this was a really good match. It got me really into the pay-per-view. This match did. And I thought this match was a really good way to start off the pay-per-view. It got people in to the pay-per-view. I thought this got a lot of time. These two guys, Bray Wyatt did get a good, D. Bryan got a good match out of Bray Wyatt, which was really good. And I know I said before that Bray Wyatt's singles match is something that really good, but D. Bryan has got the best out of Bray Wyatt, and I thought that Bray Wyatt held it all in this match. But like I said, D. Bryan tries to hit. D. Bryan hits a tornado DDT off the apron onto Bray on the outside. Then Bray hits a clothesline on D. Bryan. Then D. Bryan tries to go for a suicide dive, but he gets caught with a Sister Abigail into the barricade. Then Bray throws him back into the ring. Then D. Bryan hits a. Then D. Bryan gets hit. Then Bray Wyatt hits the Sister Abigail move on D. Bryan for the win. I thought this was a good match, like I said. I thought this got people into the pay-per-view and got me excited for the pay-per-view. Then the second match tonight. Oh yeah, then we get a segment. Wait a minute. Then we get a segment backstage. Paul Heyman's talking about the Big Show. Second match tonight was Brock Lesnar versus the Big Show. This was a quick match. Before the match, Brock hits a steel chair on Big Show. Then Big Show well, the ref rings the bell. Then Brock tries to hit Big Show again with the chair, but then Brock gets hit with a KO punch. Then Brock rolls out the ring. He's recuperating. Then Big Show throws him back in the ring, tries to hit him with another KO punch, but he gets hit with a F5. The crowd popped for this. It, got the crowd. The crowd popped for it when Brock hit an F5 with Big Show. And then after the match, Brock continues to hit Big Show's 2 more chairs. He actually snapped the chair in half, which I thought looked pretty impressive. Then the ref has to break it off and stuff. So it kind of looks like after this, I hope it's going to be Brock versus Taker at WrestleMania, which I'm thinking that the route they're going to go. I hope that Undertaker does return next week on Raw and challenge Brock at WrestleMania, something like that. I haven't watched Raw yet, so I don't know what happened on Raw. So I haven't watched Raw yet, so that's why I'm not doing a Raw review, because I haven't watched Raw yet. But anyway, then we get a segment. Renee interviews Orton. Orton says that he doesn't care if it's. He said that there's a long line of people who want the WWE World Title. But he said it doesn't care. Bray Wyatt, D. Bryan, Brock Lesnar, Batista. He says, but I don't know what he says. Something about him being on top. Something, I don't know. Then the third match tonight was for the WWE World Title. It's Orton versus Cena. Part 2, Cena vs. Orton, the Breakfast Club rematch main event. I thought this match was. I was trying to get into this match, but after seeing these two guys face off, after seeing these two guys face off time and time again on pay-per-view, it's hard for me to get invested into this match after I've seen it so many times. And Cena and Orton, they are so lazy in the ring that they don't come with anything original. Like they'll use the same moves all the time. And two guys who the fans are sick of seeing in the main event scene, Orton and Cena, they don't want to see those guys in the main event scene. That's why the fans didn't get into this match, because of they didn't want to see those guys in the match. But anyway, the fans were chanting Kurt Angle, Y2J in this match, D. Bryan, chanting yes. And then Jerry Longboard said that something like the fans trying to get in Orton's head. Why? Like, really? I don't think they were. I think they wanted to see Kurt Angle and freaking Jericho and D. Bryan, not Orton and Cena. But anyway, Orton and Cena, Orton hits an AA on Cena, and Cena kicks out. Then Cena hits an electric chair off the top rope, which I thought was pretty impressive. Then Cena hits a RKO on Orton, then he kicks out. Then Cena gets Orton in the STF, but Orton gets roughed in. Cena pulls him back. Then Cena puts him in the STF again. The lights go out. The White family are on the apron. Then Cena's trying to fight them off, but he turns around and gets hit with an RKO. Randy Orton gets the win. I thought this was an okay match, but the fans were kind of shitting on this match. But yeah, it kind of looks like after this we're going to have a Bray Wyatt versus Cena feud, which is something good, because if it comes up, we're going to have Cena versus Bray Wyatt feud WrestleMania, which is good for Bray Wyatt, because Cena is at that stage of his career where he doesn't need a title, he doesn't need to have the title anymore. He's a top guy now. He's established himself as a top guy. He doesn't need a WWE World Title or anything like that, or he doesn't need to really face a big name at WrestleMania, because he's already an established star. Now, if they do a Bray Wyatt versus John Cena feud, this could be a good feud, because this is going to elevate Bray Wyatt up to that next level, to the main event scene. And these two, I mean, Bray Wyatt and John Cena, they are pretty good on the mic, so this could work this feud. I am actually excited for this feud. Then the wrestlers are talking about the Royal Rumble. The fourth match out was the Royal Rumble match itself. Rollins and Punk start off the Royal Rumble. Then at number 3 and 4 are Sandow and Cody. 5 and 6 were Kane and Alexander Rusev, whatever his name was. At number 7 it was Jack Swagger. At number 8 Kofi entered. Then Kofi, well, after Alexander Rusev gets eliminated, Alexander Rusev, or that Alexander Rusev guy, he catches Kofi and he's like beating him up. He throws him on the barricade. He puts him on the barricade. Then he leaves. Then Kofi, then he leaps and jumps on the apron. I thought he was gonna fall or something like that, but he jumps back on the apron and comes back in the match. Then at number 8 it was Jimmy Uso. He comes down. Then and then Kevin Nash returns. Why Kevin Nash? I don't know why Kevin Nash returned. I'm not a fan of Kevin Nash at all. I don't really care about Kevin Nash too much. Then Sheamus returned. He got a good reaction. He saved CM Punk from getting beat up. Then he comes down to the final four. The final four are Punk, Reigns, Sheamus, and Batista. Kane comes back. Then Kane comes back and eliminates Punk and chops on through the announce table. Then it's down to the final 3, which are Sheamus, Batista, and Reigns. The fans were really wanting Reigns to win this match. It was chanting Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was getting over with this crowd in Pittsburgh. I really like that. Then Reigns eliminates Sheamus. Then it's down to Reigns and Batista. Then Batista hits a spinebuster on Reigns. Then Reigns gets back up, it's a spear on Batista, tries to eliminate him, but he doesn't. Then Batista throws him over the top rope and becomes the new Royal Rumble winner for the second time in his career. I did want D. Bryan to win the Royal Rumble. My picks were D. Bryan, CM Punk, or Batista. So Batista did actually win the Royal Rumble. I thought CM Punk should have won the Rumble, but we kind of know after this preview. I think we know the route where I think now they set some. I think now that we know. I think now we're looking at some potential matches for WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt vs Cena is a potential match at WrestleMania. Orton vs Batista is a potential match. So it kind of looks like it's going to be Orton vs Batista at WrestleMania. Taker vs Brock at WrestleMania. A Bray Wyatt vs Cena feud, and it kind of looks like a Punk vs Triple H feud at WrestleMania, which we all know that's going to be the route they're going. So yeah, I was kind of pissed off with the returns we got of Kevin Nash. Like, when was he last relevant? What, 1998 with the NWO? Like, when was the last Robert Nash? And Sheamus returning, pretty good to see him. I wonder what they'll do with him at WrestleMania. They'll probably put him in a feud with Ryback or something, I don't know. But, so yeah, I thought overall the Royal Rumble wasn't that bad. So yeah, that's my WWE Royal Rumble 2014 review. What do you guys think about this Royal Rumble? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching, guys. Brag out.